Last night I dreamed that I'd landed the starring role in a television series written, produced, and directed by Ricky Gervais. Shooting had already wrapped on the show, and I don't remember anything regarding the actual filming experience. I was seated in my living room at home one afternoon shortly after shooting had wrapped, and was just contemplating my career as an actor, which I'm not in real life, but in this dream I was an actor, and I landed this coveted role in this upcoming Ricky Gervais series, and I was just seated in my living room this afternoon, and it was a nice sunny day, and it was just I was very disappointed. I mean, I had high hopes for the series, which was going to premiere soon, but I just was thinking about my entire career and how I'd just done nothing but a long string of just unfulfilling projects. I mean, nothing that I was proud of. I was just paying the rent. And as I'm thinking about my career, this fellow that I work with in real life, his name's Nick, he just walks into my house, says hello. I had the front door unlocked. It was such a nice day. I think I just I left the front door open and just, I thought I'd hooked the screen. I guess not, because he walked right in. Anyways, he walks in, says hello, he sits down, and he plops a newspaper down on the coffee table in front of me, and I pick it up, and I think it was a USA Today, and I see on the cover it's been announced that his father is going to play the Joker in the next Batman film. And of course he's just, he's so proud of this, and he's telling me about the whole audition process that his father had to go through, and he's looking so forward to this, and all the while I'm looking at the cover of this newspaper, and I'm being polite, I'm being supportive, and, it's, yeah, wow, that's incredible, and I just all the time I'm thinking, your dad's a heating and cooling installation expert. I mean, why on earth did they cast him as the Joker in the upcoming Batman film? I mean, this goes, I just thought this is indicative of just the state of the industry, just everything being so incredibly inept and disappointing, and I just thought this goes way beyond casting against type. I mean, this man is a heating and cooling expert. He's not a thespian, but I was polite to him and gave him back his newspaper, and eventually he went on his way to, presumably to brag to some other people about the big announcement. The next thing I recall is emceeing this small promotional party for the upcoming show. The show was called The Series, by the way. Just The Series. I don't remember what it was about. Yeah, The Series. But anyways, I had to MC this small promotional party at a restaurant in Royal Oak, Michigan. And as part of the emceeing duties, I felt it was necessary to come up with a stand-up comedy routine. And at a certain point I was introduced. Guests were just standing with their little glasses of champagne or beer or whatever alcoholic beverage they chose, and they were watching me, and I commenced with my stand-up routine, and I bombed. I mean, from start to finish, nobody laughed. Nobody even cracked a smile. I just heard a few people clearing their throats, a few whispers, most likely insults. It was just, ugh. It was dreadful. And the thing about it was, I was doing this stand-up, and my intention was to just ensnare the audience and get them all in high spirits and just enjoying themselves before I was going to introduce an older, more respected, diminutive actor who'd played a mobster in this show, The Series. It's the only detail of the series I can remember, is there was a mobster in there somewhere. I don't remember who this actor was, but I do remember actor John Capadese was on stage, standing behind me, and he was, supposed to be, he'd played the guy, well, I guess this is another detail. I remember he'd played this little diminutive mobster's right-hand man, his enforcer, his Goomba, and, yeah, John Capadese was standing behind me on stage the whole time, and he was just getting increasingly upset as I was just continuing to bomb. But I really didn't, I wanted to finish the set on a high note so the audience would just, give this older, more, maybe it was Abe Vigoda, I don't remember. No, this guy was shorter. This guy was smaller. Maybe it was Paul Freeman, I don't know. Can't place his face. Anyways, I kept this set going. I mean, in desperation, I started trying jokes I hadn't even planned on using here, because I figured, well, no, I've got to finish this on a high note. I've got to get at least one laugh before I introduce, what's his name here, and of course, I should have thought at the time, well, the best way to get everybody to cheer is just end this crap and and stop torturing them with my crappy stand-up here, but didn't think to do that, so I prolonged this dreadful set, I think 18 or 20 minutes in length, and naturally, I mean, when I was finished and introduced this older, respected actor, whoever he was, I mean, it was just deafening applause, like, oh, good, thank you, please get out of here, and, I remember John Capadese, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, but I remember before I plopped down off the stage and just left the restaurant so embarrassed, John Capadese kind of grabbed me by the arm and insulted me, and I don't know, really just ran me down for a good 10 or 15 seconds about what I'd just done, and made me feel even worse. But yeah, eventually I just, while people were applauding this actor who'd just come out on the stage, I plopped down, walked out, left. The next thing I recall is attending the theatrical premiere of the series finale. The series finale to this show, the series, was feature length. It was like an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. And the world premiere was being held in an enormous shopping center. There was a mall, and there was a theater within this mall, and that's where the world premiere was being held. And I remember it was a very, very snowy night. There was already quite a bit of snow on the ground. Snow was falling, and I remember driving through the shopping center's parking lot very slowly, not wanting to lose control of the vehicle and ding anybody else's parked car, and I was just astounded by how rude and just inconsiderate other people were, because at this point the parking lot was only about 2/3 of the way filled up, and yet at least a dozen other people had parked directly behind and perpendicular to other vehicles, blocking them in, assuming that, I mean, something that you wouldn't want to see that, period, but I mean, you would expect to see it if a parking lot were completely filled up for some important engagement. But yeah, I just remember looking at these vehicles as I passed them slowly, thinking, why on earth did these people choose a space? I mean, what if the people that blocked in need to leave for whatever reason early? And I was disgusted by it. But anyways, eventually took one of the parking spaces, and went into the shopping center, sat down for the premiere. I can't remember anything about the actual series finale, other than the presence of myself and our little diminutive mobster and his right-hand man, John Capadese. And after the showing had concluded, in the lobby of the theater, I ran into this guy that I used to go to school with. I went to school with him. I was in elementary school. He was one of my classmates, and I recognized him right away, but I actually didn't want to say hello to him because I wasn't proud of my career. I really honestly had been embarrassed by my body of work up until this point. And I don't recall how I felt about the series finale of this series. I don't recall whether or not I was pleased with that or not. I know I was excited to finally be able to work with Ricky Gervais. It's something I'd wanted to do for a long, long time. But anyways, I recognized this kid. I wasn't sure yet whether or not I wanted to say hello, but the fellow that he was with recognized me right away and called me over. Hey, you used to go to school with him, right? And, and he got the two of us talking. I didn't recognize his friend, but obviously he'd seen some of the dreadful movies and television shows I'd appeared in up until this point. So we talked for a little while, and I was surprised because this kid that I'd gone to school with, now a grown man, was a big fan of my work, and he's just, rattling off title after title after title. Oh, I loved you in this, I loved you in that, and I'm listening and smiling, and again being very polite, but all the while thinking, my God, you liked that, really? I mean, I don't even like to admit that I was a part of that. But it was a pleasant encounter. And after our little exchange was concluded, I was eating in a cafeteria afterward. This huge, well, it was like a food court. It's like a food court, but it was as tightly packed as a high school cafeteria, and it wasn't this immense gathering of union actors. It was the viewing audience, and I was eating in there, and once I'd gotten my food and was seated with whoever I was with, I don't recall who I was seated across from, but they weren't an actor. It was a guy, but I don't recall who it was, but I was seated across from them, and this person did not like the series. This person had sat through the world premiere of the series finale, and this person absolutely despised it. He was just running it down, and he was just tearing it to shreds and just disparaging Ricky Gervais and saying that he's past his prime, he doesn't have it anymore, and I'm sitting here chewing my food thinking, you jerk, come on. And at that moment, Ricky actually was walking by with his food, and Ricky was wearing a black turtleneck and he had a goatee. He was kind of going for the Steve Jobs look, except with hair, nice hair too. And and Ricky stopped for a moment, glared at him, and shut him down. He just refuted a couple of the supposed points he'd made, and really just embarrassed this jerk, and then just went about his business. The funny thing is, he didn't say hello to me. He just he gave me this look that seemed to say, oh, so this is who you keep company with, eh? And it's a little embarrassed. But I thought, yeah, good for you, Ricky. That the series was an authentic artistic expression. You did what you wanted to do. He seemed proud of it, and I don't know. I was happy for him. And eventually we left, and I just remember someone tailgated us with their high beams on for a good part of our drive home.